Yeah, we live. We live, baby. I'm out. You ready? How you feeling?
Good.
Oh, excuse me.
Yeah. That's some.
Oh, yeah, you can't be that good. You ain't even talking into your mic. Don't nobody know what you're talking about? You need some help?
I think I'm pretty good. Thank you.
You trying to act like you my enemy and whatnot? Like you don't want to take my help?
Hey, you created that energy.
Oh, my goodness. How you gonna be coming like this with a shirt that say God's still good?
Because God's still working on me.
I'm glad we got these as our sponsors today, our honorary sponsors.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We support our sponsors. We actually bought this stuff to make sure that, you know what I'm saying?
Yes, you gifted me with this. Thank you,
100%
babe.
because this is my homie Jay. My bad. I was making sure that I couldn't see the rest of my, you know what I'm saying? Had to make sure I was in the, you know what I mean? Okay.
Yeah, we need you all skimpy out here.
Anyway, this is my homie John. This is his line, him and his wife. They are brand new to the game with doing this, so we had to support. We had to make it major. We definitely wanted to make sure that we showed some love, and then we supported and got some extra goods. So
Thank you. Thank you.
definitely thanks to them. You looking good in that shirt, too.
Thank you. I love it. It fits so good. It's comfortable. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm about to go ahead and order some more of these shorts because they were actually super comfortable. So
Yeah.
I know I'm going to want some more of these. But we are here.
And we
I really am not liking
we
this
in the
energy.
ring tonight.
Yeah, because you really trying to come aggressive right now, and I thought it was peace.
Let's just be clear. He's the one that actually brought this energy into the room tonight. So it's gonna
All right,
be
cool. Let's keep that energy then. Cool.
Yeah.
Welcome to tonight's episode of the Business of Love podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Today's topic is why should I get married?
Yep. We're gonna answer that question in full.
Okay, cool. This is a question that I wanted to address because I've spoken to a lot of my friends who have gotten married, and I've seen a lot of individuals who I even admire, and a lot of them have said that, not that they regret marriage, but there's things that they would do differently, or they wouldn't have done it so soon, or there's always something that they would have changed. And I know that that happens in life, period, no matter what it is, right? My birthday party was amazing, but there's something that I would have changed, right? There's always that. However, I think marriage is like a decision that you kind of don't need to have those apprehensions on. So I've taken that right into liberty, into my conscious of being like, what is that really saying about marriage? And so I did some digging and some researching and some soul searching to like really trying to figure out like, what is the point of marriage? What to you is the point of marriage?
Right. Actually, it's funny because when we had this conversation like early on, that's literally what you asked me, like, what is the point of marriage? And my first response, or the first thing that I could think of, was commitment. And you was like, but you get that in your relationship. Like, what exactly about marriage? So then I followed up with, I believe I said something along the lines of, you know, just having access to your affairs if something happens to you. And you said, okay, but a business partner can have that. And it pretty much was like this back and forth. And it also made me think about, wait, what exactly about marriage do I admire or want? Because all of these things that I'm wanting out of this relationship, I can get in multiple ways. So thank you for posing that question to me, because it did make me think a lot. And I came up with some answers, but I kind of want to swerve it back to you real quick. How do you feel about marriage at this point in time?
Marriage to me is a contractual obligation and an opportunity for people who are a couple to profess their union to quote unquote the world. However, I believe it is a facetious attempt to do so. I understand the symbolism. I understand the desire behind it. I understand the socio-economic structure of marriage. I understand where that fits in our society.
Yeah.
However, to me, there are more efficient ways to accomplish the desires of marriage without having to utilize the government's decision to say that they recognize this union.
Right. It's funny because when we first talked about this the very first time, you kind of scared me because when we were talking about marriage, I didn't realize that you were talking about it from the government perspective, like getting the certificate and, you know, getting all of that information updated in the systems. That's what you were speaking on. But as far as the actual commitment, having a ceremony or something intimate to recognize that you two are actually becoming one, you're not opposed to that.
Oh, I believe that a wedding should be phenomenal.
Right.
I think that
right.
I think that you should have multiple weddings. Hopefully to the same person, but
Well,
I think that you should have multiple weddings. That's real shit. That's really how I feel. Like,
But, okay, so what's your perspective on that? Like the multiple wedding thing. What is actually the point of that to you?
because if your union is really like that, right, it's going to grow and you're going to grow and attract new people. You're going to lose people. You're going to become closer with people, right? Like if I would have gotten married, 10 years ago, my best man wouldn't be who my best man is today, right? Relationships change and grow. And like where I'm at right now, there's like a certain level of like, yo, that's my business partner right now. Like, you know what I'm saying? He has to be there because that's my guy that I speak to every day. He's the one that knows all of my troubles. So, you know what I'm saying? There's just there's a desire to show what you have to the people that you love. And there's a desire to include them in that ceremony. And so I don't see the problem with celebrating that. Most people just have anniversaries. I feel like the 10th anniversary should be another wedding.
Or renew vows. Some people do that too.
I get that with the vow renewal, but I would really just like to have a whole nother wedding.
So it's funny because there's actually a basketball player retired. Him and his wife, they get married every year. And everybody was like, oh my God, you're so weird. But as we get into like this new age of doing whatever the hell you want to do, people are embracing it now. And it's so funny to me because I'm like, wait, 10 years ago, y'all was calling her crazy. But now, and they was calling him a simp because he would literally be like, okay, babe, what is this year's theme? Every year, the wedding is a different theme. He would just cut the check pretty much. But when they asked him about it, he's like, no, like this is actually keeping things hot, spicy, because you don't not only have a wedding, but you have a honeymoon. Like 100%. it's constantly new. 100%. So I get that, but I sometimes question if marriage is this thing that we're just so used to traditionally, or if we're genuinely happy with it. How do you feel about that?
I feel like you keep switching this question back to me, and you have yet to answer the first question. Don't sip now. Because you was coming with spicy energy, so keep it real spicy.
The first question, which is,
how do you feel about marriage? What is the benefit or the point of marriage?
Okay, so discussing all those points that we made regarding the business and your affairs and everything, put all that aside. I think marriage is something that is super, I don't want to say sacred because I feel like that's overused, but it's something that you literally, you have fun planning it. This person decided that you're the one that they want to spend the rest of their life with, or at least the foreseeable future with. I think that marriage is something that you work at. And the older I get, I realize that it's not a fairy tale type situation. Like you are going to go through some things. And if this is your person, I feel like you have no problem working through those things with them because you know that this is your partner. I'm not gonna lie, there are some situations that I think about where I'm like, damn, people change, things change. It might get scary. But if this is really my partner, it's nothing we can't really tackle together.
Okay, can I just stop you right here and just ask you a question? You said that marriage is something that people have fun planning. Nobody plans to have fun in a marriage. You have a wedding, You have a great wedding and you plan to have fun with that wedding. However, the marriage, like you just said, is work. And
Marriage is work, but...
And see, I feel like oftentimes, all too often, we confuse
Weddings
the
and
marriage with the wedding. Now, hold on. I'm going to put your light back on. Technical difficulties, first time we're using these things. Back to your statement about people planning to have fun in their marriages. Because, again, all too often, I feel as though people confuse the marriage with the wedding. So let's just be honest. Like you said, a marriage is work. But let's just be real. Let's call a spade a spade. A marriage is a contractual obligation to provide for someone for the remainder of their existence until someone else decides to take up that job.
Contractually.
That's why they have alimony. Don't worry, I got notes.
That's why they have alimony, but that's also why we have prenups and we have conversations prior to marriage.
Okay.
And so this is the thing, right? I feel like a lot of the times men have this thing like, oh no, get a prenup. There are women also saying that too.
100%.
So,
but what came first, the chicken or the egg?
I get it.
No, what came first, the marriage or the prenup? See, the idea of marriage came before the idea of a prenup. Somebody
had to learn.
Somebody had to learn and was like, bumped their head one too many times.
And we're grateful for that person. But this is the thing. If you have this knowledge, you have this insight, of course you love this person, but you're also going to be smart and be like, listen, God forbid this doesn't work out. You know, these are our options. So that way we don't walk away from this hating each other and we're bitter. We're putting the, proper things in place.
All right. So what is the purpose of alimony? Break that down for me. Please explain to me why that makes sense, that as a man, I need to provide for my wife, even though she is no longer providing for me. And that provision is not based on a set standard like living condition. It ain't like, hey, everybody has to pay the same amount of alimony. No, I am obligated. No. I am obligated to sustain her lifestyle.
Because this is a lifestyle you introduced her to.
And see, that's the problem with marriage. There is way too much leverage, especially the more value a man has, the less inclined he will be to get married. Because once he introduces her to a lifestyle, he then becomes contractually obligated to sustain said lifestyle, even after the benefits of the relationship have expired.
So guess what you do in that case? And I'm going to take a page from your book. Don't introduce her to a lifestyle. Simply enhance it. Like you said.
Either way, enhancing, introducing,
regardless,
it don't matter.
You want to have
still got to pay for that.
You don't have to pay for it if this is the thing. You have to be wise and marry someone using this head and not that one.
You're 100%. But here's the thing, right? Is even with using this head or using this heart, people change.
Yes, they do.
And so we watched something today where the woman said, well, if we're not heading towards marriage, if I'm not going to get my happily ever after with you, then I'm on to the next. My problem with that statement is the happily ever after, because it signifies the end. And to me, some women get to the point where they act the wife part, they become the wife, they play the wife role until they get the ring, and then they quit.
100%. I can't disagree with that.
Okay, so come on now.
I can't disagree with that. But
what in this world would behoove?
Because I hate that word.
What in this world would make a man want to sign up for that?
You have to make the right decision as you see fit. As you said, people change. We get it. But this is why dating is important. This is why I don't want to say courting, but actually having a relationship of substance.
Okay, but even having that relationship of substance, at what point?
It has to be beyond the sex.
Okay, cool.
Restaurants, cute pictures.
At what point does the relationship of substance become not enough? And I say not enough because obviously it's not enough because there has to be a marriage. Like the relationship could be just fine and everybody could be just happy, but old girl just said that if there's no marriage in sight,
Because that's what she wants.
okay, but that's what I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
that's a common ideology. That's
It's
a common thought of being
but-
like, if you're not gonna marry me, then what are we doing? For better example, you had some coworkers, and one of them was pressuring her boyfriend,
Right.
for a ring. She asked her manager to
To have a talk with him.
like-
Correct. This is okay. So I'll put it like this. The conversation regarding what you want and what you're looking forward to in this relationship, it needs to happen early on. You don't need to have a conversation about marriage, kids, and all that stuff a year in. Me personally, I asked you how you felt about things like that pretty early for a reason, because essentially I do want to get married. But if you're the type of person that's like, nah, I don't believe in marriage, period. It's not going to work, because I'm going to be essentially kind of like talking to somebody it's not really talking your language. Like, you're not going to be, it's going in one ear and out the other. But you have an interest in marriage. We talk about it here and there.
I'm cool with having a wedding.
Wedding, yes. And changing my last name and giving me a ring.
100%.
So yes, those checks, that checks all the boxes for me. But what I'm saying is, have the conversation. And I think some people are scared to have that conversation because you're like, damn, he might not be on the same page as me, but I love what he's bringing to the table.
And for the record, right, we're going to have the contract. We are going to be contractually obligated to one another. Shit, we just entered into contract the other day.
Right.
And to me, it's better to own businesses together.
I will say this. We've had that conversation.
Right.
And there are some people who bring up the matter of, okay, well, what if something happens to you? I can't go to the hospital and say, I'm his business partner. We got married, but I don't got the certificate.
That's called the last will and testament. And when you have your affairs in order, you have those things in order. See, when you have things like a life insurance plan and you name certain beneficiaries on the life insurance plan, and then they actually do that due diligence to call and find out who this person is and all of that stuff. Because I can't name you as a beneficiary and just willy-nilly just put that on there. They're going to call, verify, ask what the relationship is. I had even gotten denied by trying to put a business partner on there because we didn't share anything of any type of comment or whatever. We had to send in a lot of paperwork. So if you have your affairs in order, these are things that you don't need to worry about. I think that most people don't plan for the end.
Yeah.
Simple as that. How many people have already bought a burial plot?
Very few.
Like, that's not something that I've done, but it's on my bucket list, right? It's got to be on my bucket list because I like to do it before I kick the bucket. But but what I'm saying, though, is, right, I think of these things. And so it's fair for me to be able to question the logic of marriage because I've thought some of these things all the way through to the point where it's like, yo, for me, it really don't make sense. Because, like, in what world does it benefit me? In what world am I set up to benefit from this at all? And in what world does me not having this stop me from having everything else?
Yeah, no, I 100% get your point.
If this was a key to a door that just had something on the other side that said, hey, now here's what you really get from this, I'd walk through it.
So, just to switch gears a little bit, because I've had this conversation with girlfriends, and there's always the conversation of what is the number of years that you can handle or maintain being a girlfriend. No one wants to be a long-term girlfriend.
Why not?
And that's the thing. No one wants to just be the girlfriend for 10 years when they know there's potential to be more.
So to me, it's like, where's the basis? Is it the title?
Title, and what's stopping you, the man, from making that next step?
Because what's in it for me, the man, after I make it that next step? Because once I make it that next step, now you, the woman, are no longer trying to be the wife. You've already become the wife, and therefore the things that you used to do to try to be the wife are no longer being done for the man.
That is not always the case.
I'm just saying.
No, I'm on a very high level scale. I get it. Like, that's what a lot of men say, is when you get to, that point, everything kind of stops. Mm-hmm. The spontaneous sex, the cooking nonstop, all of that.
Even if it doesn't stop, that's the fear that lives in a lot of men's heads. You're right. That's on a very high level. That's what we're looking at. And of course, that's not the case. We know plenty of happily married people, right? Who are like a dope couple and shit.
Right.
So
they still have that girlfriend boyfriend energy.
100%. But there's that fear oftentimes of a man that says, okay, for me, right? Like, people are reward based, right? We learn, like, okay, you did good in this, so therefore you get this. That is a lot of the way in which we are set up as a society, right? So with being a reward based society, marriage is a reward. And once that man gives that final reward, there is no leverage for the man. He is essentially not just giving you his last name. He's giving you all leverage.
I disagree.
Okay.
Because you still have all these opportunities to reward each other. I mean, marriage, to me, it shouldn't be dangled like a carrot reward. Marriage is something like, okay, we're both making this major step because we want to. I can't see myself being with anybody but you. Yes, we can do that as a boyfriend and girlfriend, but we're over here telling family, friends, and making a symbolic agreement like, I'm taken. I'm off the market. So I look at it from that perspective. And then at the same time, marriage is work, like we say. So why not reward each other often when you guys, do those things for each other and date each other still? That's the coolest part to me, is that when you're married to somebody, it shows how creative you can get. Like, you can literally make this person feel like you guys are still dating. You live in the same house. You see each other every night, every day. So yeah, I have a different approach with that.
I agree with some of the things that you said, in the sense of definitely being taken off the market, right? Like, it is a symbolic reason to say, look, when you're out, there's something that says, okay, do not approach, whatever the case may be. Not that everybody gives a hoot about them things, right? But you can still have that without the government contract.
Yeah.
Right? You can still have all of those symbolic ties without.
We get it. You don't want the government in your business, but you definitely, as we've discussed, you're fine with the ring, the name change, and the ceremony.
Not only am I fine with it, I have, I'm in a space now where, as a man, even having said all of that, you don't marry a woman when you find a wife. You marry a woman when you find a partner. And so you and I are developing a strong partnership.
Yeah.
And so my stance on that is a lot more open because of said partnership, right? Because there's a lot of agreements that I want to enter into with you. So therefore, this one isn't one that I fear, shun, or run from. It's just one that my personal ideology doesn't line up with. And until I see fit to have a necessity for said engagement, my goal is going to be a wedding. If I see fit, and if we have that conversation down the line that we decide to say, okay, no, we want to make this official to whatever the benefit of it could possibly be, then yeah, let's do that. I think it was cool, right? We watched a movie the other day, and it was a couple that went on vacation and met another couple.
Yeah.
And on the vacation, they got married. Right? And then they came back and then got married, right?
Yeah.
And I thought that was so dope, because that wedding ended up meaning more to them, right, than the actual wedding. And it was just like, when you do it right, you can have everything that you want without succumbing to societal pressures of being in the norm. You do not have to fit into a paradigm.
And that's what I think the movie was kind of highlighting too.
You don't have to check off boxes. You can color outside the lines and create your own perfect picture. And so to me, that's really the message, is that marriage isn't for everyone. And I don't
100%.
think that there should be a pressure upon people to solidify their engagement for the justification of anyone else.
Yeah.
I don't think that our relationship is going to all of a sudden magically get any stronger because now we have rings. I don't feel that our relationship is all of a sudden going to get any more magical because now we've stood in front of a priest and said, I do, I do. I don't think that those things have any type of real effect on our union. I do think that displaying our union to people is a beautiful thing. Hence, all of these cameras and lights, which if y'all appreciate, we would appreciate if y'all liked and subscribed, because we are in YouTube land now, and that's what they told us that we had to say. What we got to say, baby?
Like, subscribe, and please comment so that we can get some conversations going, because we love to talk to you guys on YouTube. Of course, we love talking on our social media, our Instagram. But please give your thoughts, opinions, views, all in the comment section below.
Boom. That's why she my partner.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Now, do you got any other points that you got to make? Because I done made all mine. I feel like I killed it on this one. Because I am, look, I know it's going to be fellas like, word.
No,
especially
definitely.
if you have high value, because it's like, yo, the more money I make, the less susceptible I am to want to do that. Because like now you are basing the amount of money that I have to be contractually obligated to pay someone based on my income.
AKA alimony. That's what
you're...
Okay,
I'm going back to that, because it's just like, yo, like to me, that's the biggest problem that I have with marriage, is just that the ending of it. And all the negativity that comes with the end of it.
So just quick pause right there.
Right.
Like, please just hold that thought. We're talking about the ending of marriage. The ending of situationships or relationships that creates a child, you got to pay regardless. Child support. So this is my whole thing. Okay. This is how I would connect that.
Okay.
Conversations are needed in any type of relationship or union that you're gonna have. If you have someone that has their own business or have their own thing going on, their own 9-to-5 income, whatever that may be, I think it's very important that you two discuss prenups, period. Alimony shouldn't be that looming fear in a marriage or before you get married, because if you have this talk like, hey, God forbid something happens, can we just make sure we have something lined up, or we have, a lawyer on deck that's going to help us navigate through this?
I agree.
People are really afraid to have hard conversations.
I agree with that. I'll say this to answer that question, because you was coming crazy with that whole child support.
I'm just saying, regardless, you're going to have to pay.
No, because here's the thing. Providing for a child is totally different than providing for someone who I used to care for, who I used to have affections for, and then who could have in some way, shape, or form trampled on my emotions, violated me in some way, shape, or form. And now we have decided to end this because that human being has made a decision to be someone else from who I once loved, and I gotta pay for that shit. You are out of your rabbit ass mind. Now, a child that I brought into this world, come on, that's not even like a conversation. Like, you can't compare those two, because like the love that I would have for the child is everlasting. The love that you have for someone else, the person who bears that child, may not be the Energizer Bunny. Like, they don't keep going and going. You know what I'm saying? It might be the dollar store Duracell Jones. That, like, it was cool.
Yeah.
And it gave you a little jolt. Mm-hmm. But it didn't really have that like the bunny be having.
On the drum?
Yeah, it didn't really have that. And what I'm saying is just like, yo, those are two totally different, totally different
scenarios.
100%. And so,
Yeah.
yes, I do get it. Like in what you're saying, like, okay, either way, right? Going into a relationship, you can end up being, contractually obligated to pay for something, but the two don't stand in the same lane at all.
Okay.
Because one of them you would have joy in doing, and one of them you are doing out of sheer obligation. Mm-hmm. Sheer obligation.
Yeah.
Right? Like, show me a man that wants to pay alimony.
Yeah. You have a point. But
Like,
again, you got to have those conversations.
I could show you 10 men that my man's Coda was on. He was on Instagram today taking his kids to school. They was going to like a new district, and I wanted to tell him so bad, like, bro, you shouldn't be this excited. Like, I can show you men who love to provide for their kids.
Yeah.
Show me one man who wants to be paying alimony. I'm sure they may exist. I'm just saying you're gonna have a hard time finding him.
Yeah.
So you dig what I'm saying? There's a different type of reward that you get from providing for your children.
I guess my whole point is alimony, or the thought of alimony should not be in someone's mind at first when they think of marriage. That's not how it should be.
You 100%. I totally agree that shouldn't be the looming thought or case or whatever the case may be. But it's a fact. It's a factor. It's something that, depending upon what state you are in, it can be very harsh on you as a man.
I'll say this as well.
It is heavily weighed towards the woman's benefit, and to me,
I did the research for Georgia. Sorry, no. I'm joking, but I did do research regarding marriage things in Georgia, because a lot of states don't honor what they call it, common law marriage and things like that, Georgia being one of them. So it was interesting to me to see what's needed for your marriage to be honored here as opposed to other states. But I was going to say, wow, let me lose my train of thought.
I'm sorry.
No, it's cool.
Well, it's cool. Well, good. Good. That means I won this battle.
No, you did not.
Yes, I did.
Oh my gosh, I want to get the thought back so bad.
Oh, it's gone. It's not coming. Anyway, listen. I feel like you've made some really good points, and like I said, to me, the idea of a wedding, I'm all the way here for, but the idea of just standing in front of the government to tell them our business it just doesn't really fall in my category of things of desire. But again, right, having continued to develop in this relationship, I am much more open to it now than I've ever been, because I understand the ability to have someone who we do communicate very well. And so, when it comes to difficult conversations and things of that nature, I don't feel like that will be an issue for us. And so I think that, time will tell between you and I as far as us overcoming more and more hurdles in our relationship, which will only, help us grow and develop more. Also, us having more and more things to bond over, and, things that help strengthen our union between moments that we've had, whether it be
taking trips, going places.
You know what I'm saying? Dealing with this
crazy dog.
Yes, this Michael Schofield ass dog who keep breaking out of every contraption I build. I'm so tired of building stuff. I'm so serious. But either way, though, I feel like those are the things that are going to help create and strengthen our union and bond that would develop the ideology that probably, I'm not going to style, my ideology would probably go to like, fuck it. Like, that's how I would probably be. Like, when it came down to it, like, I was just like, fuck it, whatever. You want to do it? We do it. Like, that's
not like the thing we just watched.
Yeah. No, but seriously, because I don't ever see me being like, that's what I want to do.
Yeah.
The wedding, yes, but the actual, like, yo, let's go there and do that. Like,
it probably would be something like a business thing like we just did not too long ago.
100%.
Like, one important point that I just remembered, I feel like it's super important to do marriage solely if you're ready to be monogamous. That's something that a lot of people kind of take lightly. And I'm noticing as I get older, there are people, women and men, it's not just men, they get into marriage and they still kind of have this single mindset, or this mindset like, oh, I could still, you know, do X, Y, Z. And it's kind of like, you wouldn't want your spouse to do that. Forget that part. You took a different level of commitment, in my opinion. And you got to really respect that. Of course, marriages go through things. That's natural. But I just feel like if you are going to get married, just be monogamous or don't get married. There's time to heal. There's time to do self-work. And like I said, we continue to watch things and, you know, do a bit of research. And it seems like that's very key. You have to heal yourself and do some inner work.
I think the biggest thing for me is marry your partner. Don't get married for other people. I think that all too often people have the wedding to show people that their status in either A, life, or B, their relationship. And I know people who were faithful in the relationship, got married, and then started cheating. And it was because they felt they had that sense of security there, where it was like, oh, you ain't going nowhere now. So it was like, it's up. So to me, marry your partner and not for the other people, because, you know, some people don't have a problem with inviting other people into the relationship, into the bedroom, into the whatever. And so if that is you and you want to have that type of relationship, make sure that that's something that you both agree to. Make sure that you have the ability to have that communication and that level of freedom to be sexually expressive, right? Like right before this started, we just said, we got to go to the store. Like we have those conversations, and we're going to save that for another topic.
Completely other episode.
You had to switch feet from here to here. But make sure that you marry your partner. Don't get married for other people. That's my message.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point. A lot of things that I've seen on social media is like the showcasing of marriage instead of the feeling and just the intimacy, which is why I've always said my wedding will most likely, and again, something we would discuss, but most likely be like destination or 100%. Something just really, really intimate. Like we gotta have a photographer, but I don't even want it to be like a big to-do. It's just like, I don't know. That's
Shout
just
out
my
to the
thing.
McCoys. We just watched their destination wedding in Costa Rica. It was beautiful. It was absolutely
gorgeous.
Phenomenal. We got to celebrate Black unions and Black love. So that was a very beautiful thing that we saw. We was talking about their suits and all of that. They did it up. It was an amazing
Beautiful
thing.
colors.
And they kind of cheated, right? It's kind of easy when y'all both content creators and stuff like that. It's like, all right, well, yeah, y'all got that. Cool. Nah, I'm just joking. But it was a beautiful union, and I definitely loved everything that I saw. I was actually the one on the TBOL page double tapping. I was like, oh, this is dope. So
with them being content creators, it kind of made us feel like we were a part of it. We were able to see like literally from the beginning.
Yes, they took us through.
Yes.
So it was definitely a beautiful journey, and we definitely appreciated that. So we definitely got to take the time to shout them out in their union. And even though we just sat here and kind of bashed the idea of marriages and whatnot, beautiful union, beautiful marriage, beautiful wedding. And we wish them nothing but the best. And yeah, I do love to see those things, and definitely I am in agreement that it would be a destination wedding, because for me it's like, if you need to be there, you need to be there. But here's the other thing. That's the reason why I believe in having multiple weddings, right?
Yeah.
See, I had to go all the way to Tokyo for my brother's wedding, right?
That's love.
And then he had one in the United States. But he didn't tell me that he was having the one in the United States until I was in Tokyo already. And he told me, because if I'd have told you that we was having this one, you wasn't coming here. And I'm like, you damn straight. But I'm so glad that I went. One of the best experiences of my life. Awesome. And I'm glad that I did it. I hate the fact that he's divorced now, but it is what it is, right?
It was an experience.
It was a great experience. I just wish that the union didn't have to go through that in order to become what it is.
Yep.
And I wish that my brother didn't have to go through what he's had to go through when it comes to the difficulty with divorce, right? There's just a lot of things that I wish that could have been avoided. And I feel like it would have made the union, even down to the end, a little bit more tangible, right? I feel like now it's in so many pieces. Once you go through a divorce, the union is in so many pieces that it's really not fair to call it like a fair split, especially when there's a kid involved and whatnot.
Yeah.
There's so much just moving
That's a
parts,
lot.
right? That like, yo, without all of the stress and the struggle, if two people can just come to an agreement on certain things and you know, let the union cease to exist, I think that the two people can then still have some sort of a union because that's important for having a child.
Yeah.
You still have to have communication or whatever the case may be. And they do, but it's just I see it all too often in different relationships that end. That it's like, yo, I wish it didn't have to be so difficult.
Yeah.
That's just really what it is. I wish it didn't have to be so difficult.
I'm not going to lie. Before we wrap up, I just want to add one thing that I always said I would do prior to marriage. Of course, therapy is one,
100%.
but another thing would which I think we've done this, but put everything on the table. Is there anything that I need to know as we enter this next phase of our lives? Anything that you just want to come clean about or make me aware of? It doesn't even have to be like, hey, I did this and you didn't know. It could just be something like, I've been dealing with this and I want to work on it prior to marriage, or, just something like that.
You got to get all the dust out from under the rug so that nothing else can, you know what I'm saying? Can't nobody pull the rug from under you.
Exactly. I literally, I think probably in our first few months of this relationship, I said, I want to make sure no one can have one up on you. And that's something that I've committed to. And marriage will be no different. So that's my final point. Is there anything that you want to?
Don't do it. It's like, nah. No. I made my point, man. Get married when you find your partner. Don't do it just because you want to prove something to people.
Okay. Listen, make sure y'all like, subscribe, comment. I feel like this was such a great episode, a different episode, and I think it's going to create so much conversation. So we would love to hear from you. Yeah.
It's the business of love. We are out because 2 cameras have stopped. So hopefully the rest of this stuff is still recording. And
And thank you for tuning in again. Peace.